With all the excitement around BMW finally releasing an M3 Touring, it finally happened. BMW finally put the fun in the functional and released the combination of all the coolest things that they deliver in their cars in the BMW Touring. And this is not it. This is the BMW 330e Touring. It's a slightly smaller engine. It has 2 fewer cylinders. It's a little bit less impactful, but is it as practical and as useful? And is it maybe a slightly more grown-up, civilized version of the car that everybody's talking about? Who knows? Maybe this is it. Maybe this is all we needed. Maybe we were looking for a little too much drama. So, you know what? I say that as if it's some sort of like justification, but really they didn't want to give us the M3 Touring. This is what we got. So this is the video you get. But I like it. It's a good car. It's a good car. Okay, it's a good car. Let me explain why. It's not quite as smooth as the 6-cylinder engine that you can get in, say, the 340i or in the M3 or the 440i that we drove just a little bit ago. If you want to see that video, click and go look for that video. It's out there, and I promise we'll get better at this. Anyway, for now, you're gonna have to suffer with me. This is a longitudinally mounted inline 4-cylinder engine. It's not super common. It's turbocharged. These little bangers they're getting more and more common, but there's something sort of complacent with the way the engine's built. So is it more exciting than it sounds on paper? I think so. I think it's a pretty exciting car. It has about 180 horsepower coming from the engine alone, and then with the battery, it is a hybrid, if I haven't mentioned that, hence the E at the end of 330e. It makes about 290 horsepower, and that's plenty. Do you need more? I mean, it's a daily driver. This thing's fun. When you put it into the sport mode and you press the extra boost button, it's giving you an extra 40 horsepower, and yeah, it's fun. Little bursts of excitement. Maybe that's the theme with this car. It's a lot of functionality with little bursts of excitement. And I think from the outside, I think it looks great. I think it looks beautiful. I think it's a good looking car. It's sleek. All the lines travel all the way down the car. And the front end, is that so hard, BMW? You have it in the standard cars. Just put it in the M cars. This is beautiful. It's super clean. I think the eye line looks really sharp, still a little bit aggressive, still pointy. And if you just turn these into air intakes, I think the M3 could have that kind of sophistication and meanness all together in one. You don't need the big, tall snout. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. It's a good looking car. From the back, it's more of the same story. I think it's a smart looking car. I think it looks mean enough with things like the diffuser down here. I like the round exhaust tips. I think that's cool. There's no false sense of macho-ness in the exhaust tips. All you need is these 2 round ones that sort of fit with the exhaust pipe. I like that kind of honesty. And I think it looks fine. I think the hips are wide enough for a daily car. It doesn't need to be meaner than that. If I'm getting my camera bag out, why would I open the whole thing? It's so much easier. I think that's genius, and I think every car needs it. It's perfect. These girls down there are swimming. It's icy water. What are they doing? Don't they know you don't have to? You can just be at home. We're in a car. Okay, then we're on the road. Let's put this baby in sport, hit that extra boost, and let's see how it drives. Oy, oy, oy. So I've driven the car a little bit before now and gotten a chance to play with it and feel kind of the characteristics of the driving experience of the BMW 330e. It is a hybrid. It feels like a hybrid. It works like a hybrid, and it's got all the benefits of a hybrid too. Hybrid doesn't need to be such a bad thing. I feel like hybrid comes with associations of fake power and pushed up numbers and all that. And this being the 330e underneath the 340i engine and the M3 engine, I feel like this, on paper, doesn't have as much potential it has when you're driving it. I think this car is a lot more capable than it seems when you're checking it out on the website, and I think it's a lot more fun to drive than it seems. When you have the extra boost mode on, when you slam the pedal, you have about 10 seconds at a time, which is funny, they limit the amount of power you get, but you have 10 seconds at a time of a little bit of extra boost from the battery pack that gives you about 290 horsepower total. And for a car like this that weighs about 190 kilos, like that's as much as you need. It is a bit of a heavy car, so in the turns, it feels a bit sluggish, but that's to be expected. It's a hybrid, and it's an estate, it's a station wagon, it's a touring car, whatever you want to give the name. It's going to be heavy, but man, it has the power to keep up. 290 is plenty. Yeah, it's a good car. And the suspension, although the suspension doesn't change much, if at all, when you put it into sport mode, it still feels tight and sporty enough. It's a BMW. This is what you trust them to make. This is what they put out. It's what they do. It doesn't have the M badge, but this is a daily. This is a usable car. This is a car you want to make you smile only once every month, basically, the times that you're allowed to go out on a sunny day on dry roads and really push it. You don't need that 99% of the time. You need a car that's trustworthy and reliable and smart and sophisticated and comfortable, and this has all that. This one is spec'd very well. It's got the heads-up display. It's got leather pretty much everywhere. The thick leather soft steering wheel, super nice. It feels good to hold. I wish the paddles were made of something other than plastic, but it is what it is. I mean, that's what you get. It's not a sports car. It's a usable car. And if I put it into hybrid, it becomes comfortable, it becomes quiet, and the battery alone has an estimated 60-kilometer range. That's far. That's very far for a hybrid battery. It's about 10 kilowatt-hour battery, and that's super impressive. So if you live in the city and you can charge at home or on the street or at work or something, then you don't need the engine at all. You only need to turn it on when you want to smile a little bit. And okay, maybe that's all the time, but even then you get more power out of the battery, and the battery becomes an asset and not just a dead weight like it does in some of these cars that only get like 30 kilometers to the battery. So 60 kilometers is really good. That's a useful asset to have in this car. And I really appreciate it. It's a good car for that. But, and there's a big but here, and this is a but that everybody who drives a BMW seems to agree on. There's a distinct lack of functionality in the buttons in the car. It's nice, it's sleek, it's clean. I like the interior. I think it looks really good. I think it feels sophisticated and sharp, but if you want to change, for example, the seat heaters or the interior temperature or the strength of the fans or whatnot, you got to go in through the screen. And when I'm driving on a road like this where it's a little bit icy and the X-Drive system is a little too fun to be as comfortable as I would prefer it to be right now, it's just a bit too distracting to have it go in and press these buttons. But it really is only for the climate control. Everything else is pretty functional. You have the telephone button, you've got the sport modes in here. If you want to put it into sports, you have to go here, and you want to put it into sport extra boost, you got to click it in the screen, but that's, I mean, a pretty mild inconvenience. Other than that, it's just a good place to be. You've got a lot of interior lights via this panoramic roof that does open and close halfway, so you can get fresh air in through the roof. And the visibility out the back is plenty. It's not great, but it's plenty. And yeah, I like it in here. It's nice and quiet. It's as you'd expect and as you'd hope a hybrid to be. That's the two benefits that a hybrid gives you. It gives you quiet, sophisticated, and comfortable driving on a daily basis, but it also gives you a little bit of punch in the sporty mode. It's got both of them dialed down, this car. The 330e, I think, truly is the king of its class. So when you actually find yourself in a tricky situation and the rear wheels are just constantly spinning and clearly adding nothing other than a shovel to dig the car deeper and deeper and deeper, This car can push a lot of the power up to the front wheels and just crawl out of it. It's really smart the way the xDrive system works in that sense, in that it's very happy and fun and playful on the dry, safe roads, but on the tough stuff, when you really get off-road, it knows how to get you out of it. It's reliable, and that's what you want from this. But no, I like this car. I think this car is leading in its class. I think it's as the car should be. Now, the big but at the end of all this is the price. For this kind of comfort and luxury, you're paying quite a bit. This car can reach prices up to close to £1,000,000 kroner, and that's a big number, 1,000,000 Norwegian kroner, whatever that is in euros, I guess 100,000-ish. I mean, you're paying a little bit for a pretty baseline 3 Series BMW, but at the same time, that's just what cars cost now. We're paying a bit for these luxuries, and before everything becomes electric, this is what you're gonna have to pay to get a little bit of fun, a little bit of noise, and a little bit of drama. So for that money, I think this is a fantastic car. I think it does what it's supposed to do. I think it does it extremely well. It's very smooth, it's very reliable, it's very comfortable. And when you put it in a sport mode, it's punchy and it's fun and it's got a personality. And I think this car is good. Where are you running to in such a hurry? Anyway, there it is in all its glory, the BMW 330e xDrive. It's great. It's a great car. It does everything well. Hybrid, quiet, comfortable, but sport mode with the extra boost. It's sporty. I like it. I think it's a good car. I'm happy with it. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Superhero pose.